excited because today you are going to have access to your websites that you're going to be working on for the rest of this semester. So let's dive right in. First of all, I want you to know that we are going to be working on a Lee University site. So this will be a website that is provided to you by Lee, and you'll have the use of it for this semester to work on and to build on. I'll also have your professor, which may be me, but it may be somebody else, will also have access to your Lee University website, so we can always log in and help troubleshoot with problems. Later, we can either transfer the website you designed onto a local site, which would be kind of on your computer essentially. Or if you already own a site, or if you want to buy a domain, then we can transfer it to your own site. But for now, we're using the Lee University sites. You can find your temporary website in Moodle. Well, you don't find the website, you'll find the URL in Moodle. So there is an Excel sheet in Unit 4 that has everyone's site's username and temporary password. It's an assignment box, and it has a name, something like website assignments, username, passwords. And so if you click on that, you'll see the Excel sheet and you'll find your name, and you'll also find the URL, the username that I'm assigning you, and your temporary password. So what I'd like you to do next is go ahead and you can just copy your URL and you can paste it into the address bar of a browser. Technically, you can use any browser. You could use Safari, you could use Firefox, you could use Chrome. Chrome would generally be the preferred browser to use, uh, but that's not the only one you have to use. But go ahead and enter in that URL and let's head to that site. It should look something like this. Now, this is what it looks like in 2023, this white background with the black font and the green button. This is a particular template that WordPress uses in 2023. Every year, WordPress has a new default template that all new web pages start out on. But don't worry, we will completely change and customize it. And if you're looking at this video in 2024 or 2025, then you'll have a different template. So it won't look like this exactly. But it will be a default template. All right, so next, we need to find out how to access the dashboard so that you can edit the website. So how do we get to the dashboard? If you click up in that address bar and you kind of put your cursor at the end of that address, so put the cursor after the word site, then you are going to enter in /wp-admin. So just add to it /wp-admin, then hit the return key, and you should now have a screen that looks something like this, in which WordPress is asking you to sign in to see if you really do have access, if you're allowed to have access to this particular website. And so I want you to log in using the username and password that's on the Excel sheet. In this instance, I am assuming that the username is Lee Flames that was assigned to the student, and I'm assuming that the assigned password was spring 2023 exclamation point, and it had a capital S, which is important with WordPress passwords. And so go ahead and sign in with that. Then let's see, then you will probably get a message that says insecure password detected. And if you get this, this is fine. We actually want to change your password. I want you to have your own password. I don't want to have this I don't want to have a password that's in a video that's online so that anyone could hack into our site. So go ahead, change your password. And once you change your password, I want you to enter that password into Moodle so that your professor knows what your password is. So if you go back to that assignment Dropbox, website address, username, password, there is a place to enter online text, and just go ahead and enter your password into that Dropbox. Let's go back to your website now, and now that you're logged in and you've changed your password, you should see a screen that looks something like this. It might not look exactly like it, but kind of you'll see where there's this left-hand menu on the side, and it takes up only like maybe a sixth of the screen, and then there's a lot of stuff to the side. Welcome to WordPress, that we don't really care about. Some of the stuff on the right hand side here that takes up most of the screen. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of the unneeded messages. We can click the we could just click the dismiss here, and we can dismiss welcome to WordPress. We can dismiss the Jetpack, and we can also dismiss the first time SEO configuration that's at the top of this one. And we're not going to do anything else to the stuff underneath it. We're just going to ignore it. The main place we're going to be working is in this left-hand menu. It's called your dashboard, and this is where all of the magic is going to happen. All right. Now, I want to show you how you can toggle between your dashboard and the the actual website, what your users would see. If you look at the top of your dashboard here, you should see a little home icon, and then it will have the name of your website. In this case, this website is called COMM-270 10. And if I hover my cursor over it, this little pop-up that says Visit Site shows up, and I'm just going to click on Visit Site, and it is going to take me to my page, and I can see it as a user would see it. Now, if I want to get back to my dashboard, I could just hit the backspace, or over if I hover over the name of the website, uh, dashboard will come up, and I'm just going to click on dashboard, and I am going to be able to get back to my dashboard. Now, let's talk about how this website looks right now. I mentioned that the example I'm showing you has the default WordPress 2023 theme. I'll use the word template a few times in this particular video, although it's not really the correct word. But I think template is a word that makes more sense to most people as they're starting out in WordPress. But basically, it's a template that says what color the background is going to be in a website, how large are the words, what font is being used, where are the buttons, where would you put an image or a video. So it's like a template, and all you have to do is add the content to it. However, if we choose a good template, which is really called the theme, if we choose a good theme, we can customize it really well so that it looks exactly how we want it to look, that it will look how our wireframe looks. But we have to choose a good functional theme for this to happen. And the default WordPress themes are not that great. They have limited editing abilities there. So I just want you to know, although what you see on the website now, I think it's black, it doesn't look good, it's ugly. We are going to change the theme so we can customize better. So, in my opinion, never use the ugly default theme. Just say no. Just say no to default themes. So let's go to your dashboard and find out how do we change the theme. If you look partway down your menu, that dashboard menu, you will see Appearance. And if you hover over it, you should get a flyout that has a few different items such as themes, customized widgets, etc. And you can click on themes. Now, it might look a little different. It's possible instead of it being a flyout to the right, it might be below appearance. So if you see in this example, themes, customized widgets, and all the others are right below it. It's fine. Still click on themes, and you'll get to a page that will look something like this. It will have a few of the default themes in there. We're going to ignore the other default themes. They're all the basic WordPress themes that are not wonderful. We're going to hit the plus button because we are going to add a new theme. You'll see a search bar, and you can go ahead to where that search bar is, and you are going to type in the name of the theme I want you to install. It is called Inspiro. So just type in Inspiro, Inspiro, and if you want to see it spelled out a little bit larger, let me put it over here. So you're going to search for Inspiro, and then you can preview it if you want to, but you don't have to. And I'm going to have you download this particular theme regardless of what you think of the preview, uh, but you could preview it. Or just go ahead to install and activate it. So to do that, we would first of all click on Install. And once it installs, we would then click on Activate. If we want to see what it looks like, we can toggle back to the home page. So hover over that top section with the name of your website and then click on Visit Site. And in this case, this is what it looks like. Now, I don't want you to worry or to freak out because you think that's not at all what I want my website to look at. You see this and you're like, I don't have anything about the ocean, or I don't want a full screen picture like this. I don't like that font. I don't want white font. That's okay. We will customize and change all of that. Don't worry about it. The nice thing about this particular template is that it is very customizable. So that's what I love about it. The developers gave you lots of options to change colors, backgrounds, where pictures are, everything. In fact, we're going to be building our own homepage. We're not even going to use theirs, but it's just highly functional and one of the most intuitive of the themes that I've had students use. So this is my one for you to learn on. All right, so don't worry if it looks different. But now that you see what it looks like, let's go back to your dashboard. Just hover over the name of your website and click on Dashboard. And let me tell you about the next thing that I want to talk to you about. Even after we install a theme, WordPress is still not that deluxe. There's a lot of things that we need to add to WordPress in order to make it attractive and more functional. And so we are going to be doing that through the use of plugins. So what are plugins? Plugins will extend what WordPress can do. It gives us the opportunity to add elements that we want in our design. So why do we need plugins? Well, the basic idea is WordPress is designed to be lean, which means that when somebody clicks on a site that's powered by WordPress, then it should load very fast, that it should load within that 3 seconds that we want it to, because it doesn't have a lot of excess code, which is called code bloat, and so it's able to go quickly. So we want to add plugins to provide the functions we want, because WordPress hasn't put a bunch of junk in our website. We get to choose exactly what we want and not overload it. And so plugins allow us to choose what we want uh, to customize our site. All right, where do you find plugins? If you're in your dashboard, it's down about halfway down that menu, you'll see plugins. And we are going to uh, add a plugin. Uh, and so what I want you to know before we get to it is in this tutorial video, I want to let you know that when I show you a plugin to add, it might look different in this video than it does on your screen. I don't know what it is about plugin developers, but they seem to really like changing up their logos often, all the time. I teach this class semester after semester, and so often I'll have created a PowerPoint maybe a week before class in which I've taken a picture of what the plugin looks like for students so it's easy for them to find. And then I'll come into class to teach it, and the logo's been changed already. So I just want to prepare you for that because it might look different. And I'm just going to give you an example. There is a pair of plugins called Hummingbird and Shmush. And uh, the same plugin has had two different logos here, and they're the exact same plugin, but the logos are very different. And so if you see me showing a logo for a plugin and you can't find one that has the same logo, just take a look at the title. So if you notice Hummingbird Optimize, Speed, Enable Cache, Minify CSS, and Defer Critical JS, which is JavaScript. And you look, and this is the exact same name. And see that it's developed by WPMU Dev. This is WPMU Dev. So it's the same one. So if you don't see the plugin that I'm recommending, uh, look at the title and the developer, and you should be able to find it. All right, there's a few types of plugins that you'll need. First one I want to talk to you about are security plugins. This is incredibly important that your website is secure. So this idea of website security, we had a problem uh, a little while ago with student websites in which one of the students' websites was hacked, and then it was hacked and things were added and taken away from his design. But because all of the Lee University websites are on the same server, viruses that, if a viral code, if some virus is left on a website, it can actually travel between all of the Lee University websites. And so we actually had one semester a lot of student sites that were infected, and that can be a real nightmare to deal with, honestly. So I want you to have the strongest website security possible, and that one is WordFence. There is a free version of it that we are going to be using. And so WordFence is what we want. Let me just give you an idea of what WordFence does. So I get an email from them, and it will tell me on a particular website if it has blocked um, anyone and where they come from. So look at the IP address, and um, it's blocked certain times because these are going to be these are essentially uh, sources that are looking to uh, do problem have create problems. So it will also tell me if there are failed logins. Um, I never use the word admin as a username. This is one of the easiest ways to get your site hacked. And that's why I gave you a different username to use, because we will not use the word admin as our username. And then it also tells me more about these recently blocked events and files that have been modified. And I can look at this and go, because sometimes modified files are things that I've done. I've updated things, and so that's fine. But anyways, it gives me all that information. In order to add the plugin, we're going to go over to plugins in that left-hand menu, and we're going to click on add new, and it will take us to a screen like this, and we are going to I use the address or use the search bar here to search for the one we want. So I mentioned that we want WordFence. So we are going to type in WordFence and it should come up like this, and we're going to click on Install Now, and then we will click on Activate. At this point, WordFence will take you through a set of steps, and these set of steps may look slightly different, but they'll be very similar, but they might change wording or pictures or the layout, but it will be similar to this. We're going to get your WordFence license. That'll take you to a website, and we are going to select the free version of WordFence. And we'll get a pop-up that says, "Are you sure?" Because the free version is only updated every 30 days as opposed to the paid versions, which are updated daily. But we're going to click I'm okay with waiting 30 days. And then we'll get another pop-up which will have you put in an email address, and you should put in the email address your professor tells you to use. In my on-campus classes, I have my students send this to me, and that's my email address there. And we would select yes, we want alerts sent via email, and we say we have read the terms and conditions. Then WordPress will send a key to that email. And so in my case, when I have the students send it to me, I provide the license key to my students. I put it in the Excel document that had the same document that has the usernames and passwords and the URL of your site. And so I send it there. If I go back to my website, then my dashboard, um, it will tell me that I must install, or you must install the license using a WordFence. So what we'll do is we'll click on WordFence, which is now a new menu item, and it will bring this up, resume installation. And so if you go back to that Excel sheet that I mentioned, this is the one that had your username and password and URL. I've now put your license in that document, and so you copy that WordFence license, just copy it, and you're going to paste it in here. You're going to give my email again, and we're going to do yes here and install license. I know it's repetitive, but that's how it works.